Okay, so let's get into the teaching. And bravo, you guys, that was fantastic. The teaching, who me a leader? Who wants to give that a try? So I'll just, while you're thinking about it, I'll just remind you. So whether it's, I don't know if your classroom's going to have a blackboard, if you're going to be outside, but in some form on a poster, it's very important. You'll see that you'll use it often. It's very important that you have a sign with these characteristics of a leader written on it. Because you're going to refer to those characteristics often. And you can see how I've already been doing that with the human knot, with the poem. We're talking about characteristics of a leader, right? We're talking about empowerment. We're talking about pay it forward. Well, here we're going to start to name those characteristics. A leader has to stand out, right? Yeah. If you're going to be the shy one who's going to sit in the background, but you are passionate about your vision, no one is going to join your vision. Sorry, it might be awesome, but the world's not going to be there for you. So you're going to have to push yourself outside of that comfort zone, or bring someone with you that is willing to stand out. And you can be the visionary, and you can put them out in front who can stand out. You don't have to change who you are. You just have to have the right team around you. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So for that shy kid who's going, oh, I'm never going to stand out, that's fine. But you've got brilliant ideas and you want the world to know them. So find a best friend or a partner who loves to stand out. All right, now, I gave you a little head start here, okay? That's the way I want you to describe who me a leader. So who wants to keep it going? We've got about 6 more characteristics to talk about.
We are going to the next point there.
Okay, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Yeah. How to live with vision, because once you lose the vision, you have no goal. You have to have the courage so that you can engage with your students. And also, when you have courage, you'll be able to express yourself well enough. You also have to have conviction. You have to believe in what you are doing. To have humbleness and connection. You have to learn how to connect with the group that you are dealing with.
So now I'm going to turn to Edwin for a second, because so far you are the expert in relaying it to personal experiences, right? We're going to give you that crown for a little bit. So far that's you. So how would you relate this to them? Right now they're words on a page. They're words that Sandra beautifully said, but they need to connect to their hearts somehow, just like we did with the poem. How are you going to do that without taking a lot of time?
Sorry, I didn't get the question right. Sorry?
Sandra did a great job of expressing these words to the group.
Okay.
What I would suppose is that the group has not yet engaged, or they have not yet believed her.
Okay.
Right now, they're just words. You're the expert at making the words connect to their experiences. So how without taking a lot of time, because you can't spend too much time on this list, you're going to talk about it later, but how are you going to make these words important to them?
Okay, first, I'll generalize it, like I don't want to give it a situation. I want to bring it maybe like a worldwide thing. Maybe you are working for a company, you are heading a family, you're heading a group of people, maybe a school or anything. You should drive the vision. Like you have to be the best. You do the best out of anything you are doing. When it's cooking, when it's driving, you have to be the best driver. As in your vision has to be the best, and we connect it with maybe your courage. Sometimes we think we are wrong, but
okay, I'm going to stop you for a second because it's going on too long. So we're going to have to get really, really succinct. So for vision or courage or conviction or humbleness or connection, how are we going to just get the kids to say, I get it. I get what vision is. Or I get why it's so important. Just like a quick comment about it. Anybody can chime in here. So I did the stand out piece, right? You saw how I did it. I was like, you know what? A leader has to stand out. But if you're shy, it's okay. Then find someone who loves to stand out and bring them with you. But your vision, your passion is important. Therefore, you have to stand out or the world will never know it. 5 seconds, done. How in 5 or 10 seconds can you make this piece about vision, courage, or conviction, how do you make that come alive? Just quickly.
Let me give it a try. I don't think I'll do
Good.
it, but I'll
No,
give it a try.
don't speak to the negative. Speak to the positive. You're going to be amazing.
All right. To have this quality as a leadership, to have a vision, courage, conviction, and humbleness, you need to have a dream, and this dream has to be shared. Yeah, people need to know how you intend to make sure that your dream is becoming something that is ongoing. Yeah.
Yes.
And in order for you to share your dream, you need to be sure about it. You need to have thought about it. You need to also be courageous and be able to speak to people about it. Then you also need to be humble in order to get criticism, both positive and negative. I would say in a nutshell that is.
How you like that, guys?
I mean, we also have to have the communication skills in order for you to connect with people.
Okay, so far in the first two, we've talked about the dream, the vision. We're using those two as a way to get their vision to end up being a reality in the world, right?
Yeah.
So what you did, Rahab, was you chose to use the dream as a way to make vision, courage, humbleness, connection make sense.
Yes.
And what do we know? Every single person in front of you is a dreamer. We are a dreamer from the moment we're born, right? We daydream. We dream of a better tomorrow. We dream. So I love that. I think that's a great way to make this one come true, come alive. And so now I have to ask you, Edwin, did I offend you in stopping you? I need to know because I'm over here all the way in the United States. And if I say, whoop, stop too, I'm using a little humor, but you may take it as, wow, she's rude.
No, you didn't offend me. I think we were driving to the same thing, but I came in a different way.
Good. So that's, if that's okay with you, I'll do that. But if it's something that's going to shut you down, that's something that's not effective, and I would be a terrible leader then. So I just thought to check in because we're all learning how to work with each other. What you need to know about me in that scenario is that's me keeping things moving because I know we can do better. And it's also, Edwin, a way to see Rahab step up. right?
That's what one my quality. Accepting.
Good.
I accept defeat.
That's excellent. And so I really want to acknowledge that Rahab really just stepped up there. And I think that Rahab needed Edwin to practice it first so that she could start to galvanize to really get to where she thought it should be. So that was a teamwork approach again. Well done. All right, so who's going to try the integrity one? How are we going to use something to make integrity, being true to yourself, a part of leadership? How are we going to make it make sense to the kids? Do you all feel like you understand integrity? Okay.
Okay, first one has to be honest and have strong moral principles and be true to himself first.
Why?
Another thing,
So what? So what? Sometimes I get further ahead if I'm not honest. Why do I need to be honest? Maggie.
Should be
No,
honest because-
Maggie, stay with it.
simply because you need to be honest, because whatever things you're going to teach them, the same things they're going to follow. You should be a role model. So if you teach them bad things, they're going to follow bad things. If you teach them good things, they're going to follow that. So that is why you need to be honest to yourself first before you let it go to somebody else. Yes.
Anything anybody else wants to add? Well done, Maggie.
Yes. I think also as leaders, when you're doing a leadership training, you also have to be a leader yourself. So you become a role model. And if you are a role model, people are looking upon you. And if they look upon you, they tend to notice both the weaknesses and the strengths. And unfortunately, our society is not a very good one. They tend to sit on the weakness and criticize the weakness. And they will just say, after all, she's telling us to be honest and she's not honest herself. So they will not look at the positives. Yeah.
Now there's a very... Go ahead.
I'll learn by saying somebody who said that you can run, but you can't run forever. Let's say today I lie to you. How many times will I lie to you? They don't last. Yeah.
I like
That's what I'm saying.
I like your use of, you also were the one to use the keep your enemies close and keep your, right? Yeah. So I like your use of past phrases. It's great. You guys, I think you have a very powerful opportunity here. I don't know if you'll choose to use it, but this piece of integrity and honesty is the piece that you all picked out about your team, right? So I think you're brilliant in the idea of bringing this home, talking about it as an issue that you have identified is hurting your community. Okay? And I think the most powerful thing you could do, but again, it's your culture, so you'd have to tell me if this is true or not. If I were in your shoes in this culture, the most powerful thing I could do would be what we've already learned about each other is that this is something that we could do better at. So we're going to be working on this with you.
Okay.
So you guys can decide if if that makes you too vulnerable and they won't respect you, or if it's not a part of your culture. I have found if a leader can admit a weakness in front of their group in a way where it's a growing tool that it puts you together, it's very powerful. It brings out more trust. But I don't know if that's the same for your community.
Yeah.
So I think it would be very powerful for you all to say, one of the first things that we identified is we don't have enough integrity. because we are sometimes not as honest as we should be. And we were all brought up to be honest, but here we are as adults finding a way to get our way by being dishonest. We are going to work on that with you. We need to stop that. It's hurting our culture. That's, I think, a very powerful thing to say. Do you guys agree, disagree?
Oh, yes,
We
I
agree.
agree.
We agree.
I've got a calm in this room. Everybody's wheels are kind of churning. It's like, oh, yeah, that's actually pretty true. Okay. So I don't think we need to do all the rest of them unless you want to. If you want to, I'm happy to do them with you. I think you can see that the point here is to make sure that you have thought out in advance how you want to deliver each of these items. And these items are the cornerstones of your leadership program. So how you deliver them from the start will allow you to refer to those issues for the next 12 units. You're laying a concrete foundation.
Yeah.
So would you like to go through each one, or would you like to move on to the next piece? I can tell you on the touch, move, and inspire one. On the touch, move, and inspire, I would put Edwin at the on the leadership role there. I think he's got an innate way of doing that, and I think that was shown in the poem. So I think what I would do in your shoes is I would refer to the poem and the way Edwin did it with the group and teach them that's what we mean. Done. Easy. He literally touched you. He inspired you to never, ever, ever, right?
Yeah.
On the resiliency one, I would think of a common thread you have in the Kabiran community. My God, you guys are resilient every day, beyond which most people ever even understand. So you may even want to praise them all for being the most resilient people in the world, and to never give up and bounce back, which they're already perfecting from childhood. Do you want me to keep going?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you have to stop me though if something I say doesn't click. On the facts or facts versus your interpretation of the facts and speaking to success. Rahab, you had an idea. You said, I don't know if it's going to come out well, but I'll give it a try, or it's probably not going to be good enough. That's not speaking to success. I have an idea. I want to try this.
Yeah.
That's success. Okay? Don't sell yourself short. Seeing the facts as the facts rather than interpretation of the facts. When your emotions get connected to the situation, if it's an inspiration moment, that's perfect. That's the kind of emotion we want, right? If it's the anger or the fear moment that causes you to be dishonest or out of integrity, that's not the emotion that's going to help us. So one of the things we are doing as a leader is to learn how to see something for what it is with no emotion attached. If we can do that, we can stay strong. And we can see our vision and our dreams come true. If we get fear, if we feel insecure, if we decide we're not worthy, then our dreams go out the window with us.
Yeah.
To look at failure as opportunity. Think of a scenario where you want to describe a failure and how it ended up being an opportunity. Okay?
Yeah. But in real situation, most people see there is courage like a failure.
Exactly. So that
The
goes.
whole world.
So which one of the leadership threads do we bring out in there? which one of those things is going to say that that's actually not true?
It should be like a stepping stone to your success.
Yes. But
Like
wait,
saying your should be your stepping stone to success.
yes. And so I'm going to use a couple of key words here because we want you to get used to using the key words for the leadership training. You're going to say, if you looked at that failure as a fact, instead of allowing your discouraging feelings about yourself that would cause you to give up, look at it as a fact. You will protect yourself. If you are resilient, and you say, I have a dream. My dream is important. My vision is important to our community. It's not a selfish one. It matters to others. I am going to keep moving forward. That's being resilient. If you look at the idea of, wow, maybe I failed because I didn't inspire someone else to see it my way. Or a fascinating one is, maybe I was out of integrity. Maybe I wasn't listening to the other person well enough. Maybe my way wasn't the right way, and I've just decided it was.
Yeah.
Those are all opportunities to put yourself in a place of leadership and move on rather than discouragement and give up.
Like maybe you made the wrong choice.
Yeah, or maybe, oh my gosh, this would be a reality check. Maybe my idea is a great one, but it's not going to work in that way in this world. So my job is to look at the reality of the world and say, well, how can I adjust it so it will work? Because if no one accepts it, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
If I said to you, those evaluation sheets have to stay written exactly the way they are because I've spent years on them and that's the way they're going to be. What have I done? Now, those evaluation sheets, they work here. They work here. But that doesn't mean anything. It's your world that's important. And if I'm stuck in my world, we can't work together.
Yeah, that's good.
And the last one is to create possibility. If nothing's wrong, what's missing? This is kind of a cool thing, but what it really says is right now, we have nothing wrong. We're all getting along. This is great, right?
Yeah.
But there's still some things missing. And what's missing is what we can do together. So you can be sitting in that space with your students and it can all be going really well. But if they don't leave inspired to act, inspired to change the ways or to believe in their vision or to step up, then something's missing. And the missing thing is the opportunity. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
So to use your phrase, you love the phrase, status quo. Do you know the status quo?
Sorry?
Do you know the expression status quo?
Status quo.
Okay, so this speaks to status quo. Status quo, nothing's wrong, right?
Yeah. It's a situation you put yourself into.
But everything's wrong with status quo. Nothing will change from status quo. So people say, well, nothing's wrong. This is the way it's supposed to be. Well, great. But that will never get us to a better tomorrow. We'll be stuck in status quo. That's what's missing. Okay, and if you can inspire those thousands of students to actually want their community to be better, to be their best selves, oh my God, what could be different?
Yeah.
All right, so those will be the cornerstones of your leadership. Are there any that you feel are against your cultural norm or that you don't agree with? Or can we all agree to move forward with these as very crucial underpinnings for this curriculum?
We agree with them.
Yeah.
All of you?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to need to feel those inside your heart, just like we did with the poem. You're going to need to be able to really express these. By the time we're done, I think you'll feel it more. But what's important is that you can dip into in a moment with your students, and you can actually pull out that leadership tool in them that's quiet and sleeping. Okay? If you don't observe them and you aren't willing to go and grab it, then they will miss out. So if you don't feel these things in your hearts by the time we're done, then I will have failed and your kids will lose out. Okay? But you're going to have to do your part. You're going to have to really dive in with me.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's a commitment. Yeah.
Edwin, you look like you have something you want to say.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.